Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to the new week. I'm greeting you here with a daily check-in about divine feminine and divine masculine energies. We'll take a look at what's happened with the energies at this time. We'll get an answer to one more specific question about each of the divine collectives, and we'll see how the twins feeling towards each other right now, how they see in each other on their conscious mind. We'll also get guidance from an oracle deck, and today is going to be the Sacred Traveler Oracle. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the reading. And I said let's jump, and the cards jumped. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit more of a shuffle, and yeah, we'll see what jumps out. You know, they listen to me. I say jump, and they jump. I hope you guys are excited about the new week. It's the end of the month, first of all, so that means that I'm gonna be posting my February readings very soon, so I just need to fix that. Also, it means that we are about to enter the 2-2 portal. I didn't really pay too much attention to the 1-1 portal in January, but we'll definitely, apart from the fact that it was New Year and I did yearly predictions, which are still available on my channel, so check those out. Yeah, maybe I'll do a special playlist for those. Thank you for the suggestion, it just came to me. But yeah, so that was that, you know, manifesting, starting anew. It's like the inception point, the 1-1. The 2-2 is of course more about collaboration, and what I'm getting just as a general download for the collective, that it's gonna be your relationship with spirit, with the divine, with your ancestors, with your guides, you know, with the 5D space, right? How good is that connection, or it needs a tune-up, right? How are you taking the messages that you receive? Like, how do you react to them? What do you do with those? Does it make your life better? Does it help you? Does it make you happy? Or it's something negative, right? Like, those are the different things that we'll be exploring and getting more in-depth information about. Okay, let's get a card for divine feminines. And I'll actually be looking at the bottom card as well. Okay, so for the feminines, we have in the flow, everything is smooth sailing. And wise leader, you are a beacon for others. Yeah, so this is that stepping into the light worker mission. If you have been there for a while, this is a confirmation that it's either already going well and exactly where it's supposed to be, or it will get a lot smoother very soon, right? Like, it's important to show up as that wise leader, and things will work themselves out, even if it doesn't seem like that immediately. What do we have for the masculines? Ascending the mountain, keep going forward and reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly. Yeah, I mean, kind of makes sense, right? Like the start of the journey, the end of the journey. I'm not saying the end, but you know, it's like you started climbing and keep climbing, and you are at the top, reaching your destination. So what it tells me immediately is that you've been climbing that mountain for a while, essentially, DMs, right? And you're about to reach your destination. So now the questions are gonna come up about, are you still interested in that destination? Do you still have the same goals? Do you still want the same things, or be with the same person, or whatever it was, right? Maybe it's you were building a business, right? And somewhere along the way you realized that it's much trickier than you thought, or maybe you only enjoyed it because you were working with a specific person, or because you could apply your creativity, right? But now you're like, well, but now I see I can do so much more, right? Or like that path wasn't like specifically like wasn't the only way to get to what I want, because now that I understand what I want, I may need to tweak that destination, and that's fine, right? And that's, I don't want to say it's a test, but it's one of those things where it's like, are you gonna jeopardize your values and your happiness just because you've already invested a lot in this particular goal, or it's been on your vision board for a long time, or you told all your friends, and that's why you're gonna keep climbing that way? Or was the whole value of going that way to find what you're truly passionate about, right? And go there and say, hey, look at that. Now I'm more excited than ever about this new thing, right? And I'm getting immediately for some, there's like a semi-subconscious response, like, but you know, we've been taught to stick with it, like not to quit what we started, but to finish it and all that, you know, like usually people who start something and then switch to something else, they're frowned upon. And I had that prejudice growing up in my head all the time. I wouldn't say it necessarily stopped me from trying new things. It never really did. But I still had that monkey on my shoulder. Like I was always thinking, oh my God, this must look so bad. Like I took up that hobby, did it for a year, and now I'm like, yeah, I want to do something else. Then I thought to myself, well, you know, I'm a child, I'm exploring, so why not? And then when I was an adult, it still would continue, right? Every so often I would start something new, or I would get a project halfway and I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to go 100% anymore. I don't want to waste my time there. It's going to be a waste for me, so I'm going to do something else here, right? And some people get disappointed. And yeah, the stakes were higher, you know, in your adult life. It's not just this hobby, that hobby, and pretty much all my hobbies didn't really require investments in money. So, you know, my mom didn't even care that much, although she cared about everything in my life, but in an unhealthy way, you know what I mean. But she was okay with me switching, like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Whatever keeps you busy. You know, if it sounds good, sounds like it's, at least it's not bad for you, then why not, right? But when you're an adult, the stakes are higher, the pressure is higher. So yeah, it's different. So that became harder and harder. All that baggage, I kept dragging it with me. And I don't even think there were times when people would like be very hard on me because of that, but that was in my head. I created that. How bad is that? So quite a few times in my adult life, I didn't make the choices I would want to make just because of that, of how it will be perceived, that I will be judged, that people will not trust me anymore. Like those people, for example, who have worked with me, or other people will look at it and be like, we don't want to start a project with you because there's no guarantee that we're going to finish, right? Like it's like, touch and go, you never know. Anyway, let's continue. So while you're reaching your destination, you're not quite there, but you're almost there. That 9 out of 10. Rethink divine masculines, whether it's still something you want to do, or somewhere you want to go to, or someone you want to be with. Big time decision. Okay, so now let's see. Wheel of Fortune, bottom of the deck. Yeah. Destiny is running its course. We're seeing that for a while, I think now. For a while. I mean, at least for a few days in readings. A lot of that major arcana and divine intervention energy. Hold both twins, actually. I'm hearing the song about Santa, and, you know, he's making his list, he's checking it twice. He knows, keep forgetting the lyrics, who's been naughty or nice, you know, like it's like that judgment time. Where, yeah, depending on how far you've come off track, or you've stayed in alignment and you've completed your assignments, you know, that judgment moment will look different for you. Let's put it that way, right? It can be a reward and, you know, recognition or support, or that someone that you were waiting for or you were manifesting, right? Like you'll get what you were manifesting into your life, or especially if you were off track, right? Like you'll be put on track. But what it will look like in the physical is like, it could look different in a very different way, right? This is a collective reading, but for a lot of people it will look like their plans are broken, right? Like they put in effort and maybe like it feels like their heart and soul, it is their energy and time, right? And it would be just like disappear like that in a moment. And those people will need to start from scratch, and it will be quite devastating. That's all I'm gonna say. Looking at this Nine of Cups, yeah, so wishes are coming true. But what's interesting, like this is the manifestation coming true, what I was talking about, is that even in this scenario when there's a tower moment, that's also what you are bringing about with your personal energy, right? It's like, again, are you paying attention? Have you been staying high vibe yourself? You know, all of those things, because if you are in alignment, then yeah, obviously you are already on the same page with the universe, right? If you were doing something completely different, driven by your ego, then, you know, you're gonna be brought to the right path, right? Or I don't want to get too deep into that because it's not supposed to be a long reading, but you may actually get what you're asking for. But it's like that saying, be careful what you wish for. It might look differently than what you imagined. Not even like, oh, I never thought it'd feel like that, but like it will look different than what you were asking for. But technically, that would be your wish. Make of it what you will. Okay, feminines, you have Three of Pentacles clarified by Six of Wands. Yeah, collaboration with someone to reach success, right? You don't have to do everything alone, right? And there should be someone who's like holding the camera and directing the lights while you're in the spotlight talking or singing or whatever else you're performing. You are delivering a speech, whatever you're doing, healing people, right? So either you already have a companion, so it's a confirmation that you guys are gonna reach the success, or it's a hint to find a partner in crime, to find somebody. It doesn't have to be one person, right? Find somebody who can be part of your team, right? And it can be like you're gonna employ someone to help you out with everything, or it can be like, okay, we all have our ideas, so maybe like we all bring something else to the table, but together we can do something magical, right? Whatever it is, do whatever it takes. Oh, look at that, Two of Cups clarified by Three of Pentacles. Synchronicity here, right? But for masculines, it's like I don't even see this in this case as soulmate energy. It's more like, especially because they're twins, right? Like, and you can say, oh yeah, twin flame, obviously, but not even that. Like, it's almost like the same person. Like, it's a connection between the 3D and 5D, connection with the higher self, with 5D self, right? It's that collaboration that is being established right now on a more conscious level, right? And of course, depending on DM's knowledge, awareness, culture, whatever, they may not necessarily call it that way, right? To them, it can be like spirit or, you know, the universe, like the bigger energy, but whatever they believe in, essentially. But that's what it is. It's like the connection, and it will bring the results as if they were like working on self-love, listening to themselves, all that self, because it is them. But guess what? When it comes to 5D, it's the same 5D higher self for the feminine and the masculine. So the more they develop the relationship with this higher self entity, the closer they get to divine feminine. And I mean, of course, in the physical, we have a bunch of other add-ons, as I like to call them from my IT background, but that's how we recognize a person too, right? Like we feel this closeness, we get them immediately. They don't have to explain a lot, right? We don't need to be in their shoes, like to the detail, to the tiny detail, to understand what they've been through or how they're feeling. So from that perspective, it absolutely gets them closer to DF. Additional question, 10 of Swords clarified by the world. Painful cycle. You see, this is what I was talking about from the very beginning. In this deck, 10 of Swords is like other people like trying to make an impact, as like judging and pushing and telling you what to do and what they want to see from you, right? I already did a speech at the beginning, so I'm not gonna repeat. But essentially, this is closing of that cycle of people pleasing and worrying too much about what others will think and them judging you. What does it look like for the feminines? We have 6 of Cups clarified by the Star. This is following your bliss, following your higher guidance, but in this case, not necessarily like business talk and, you know, where I want to be in 3 years and like how do I increase the not the turnover, what's the word, like the how do I increase my profit, for example, or my market, right? How do I reach wider audience? Like it's not those things. That's also part of that star energy, but this time it's mostly about the connection with inner child and doing what you enjoy, what you love, right? And since we already talked about how a lot of times we say no to things we want to do because we feel we don't want to be judged, this is like after the judgment is removed, nothing's stopping you, and it's never too late. No. For masculines, the devil clarified by death. Yes, and that's another side of it that I already talked about as well, where there's a judgment day, and it will depend, it will look different, right? Like even the transformation will look different depending on whether you've been naughty or nice. I even use that terminology, and here you are, have the devil. So before somebody gets upset that this all looks gloom and negative and upsetting, even this doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be like a disaster, like a punishment, right? None of it is intended as punishment. It's all intended as cleansing. And we actually have this the allusion to a mushroom. I don't know what its name is in English, to be honest, but it's supposed to be a poison mushroom. But it can also be used in medicine, right? It's about the dosage and like how you take it, right? So what DMs are being given in this case, like they're facing their true self now, right? There's nothing to hide behind, right? They're facing their music here, right? And that is done not to punish, that is done to bring clarity and for a rebirth to happen, right? That's the only way to peel off the layers of the onion, of the toxicity, of the manipulation. Not to like beat themselves up to death. No, not that kind of death. It's like, okay, there was a lot of ego in my life. It caused a lot of pain to myself and to other people. And I'm putting that to death. And I'm starting a new slate. How are the feminines feeling towards masks? I thought yesterday's reading was long, but look at that. 7 of Cups clarified by the Sun. Yeah, they know that that is the winning choice. That's the happy choice that they're making towards the masculines. They still have so much faith in it. Even with a lot going on, with a lot of confusion and unclarity and like lack of specific plan or timeline, right? There's still that faith that it is the It is where full happiness will be reached. It is where full healing will be reached in union together. When both twins are making this choice. That's the important part. What about masculine towards feminine? So, wow, another devil. Ace of Swords clarified by the devil. So with the ego death, was facing, well, first of all, was facing their shortcomings and fears. They are starting to see, well, the truth in a kind of like the more objective view of things, but also the key to the solution, right? That's a lot of times what DMs are lacking, or they lack faith in it, right? Like, what can I do? Or can that even be fixed? You know, it's almost like, yeah, shall I fix my life, or shall I just go somewhere where people don't know me and start a new life? Right? This is like saying, yes, you have the chance. You should keep your hope, right? But keep it authentic, keep it honest. That's like the key to this success, to getting your happiness and to detoxing from toxicity, essentially, that you've been growing in yourself, right? Like, I see this equivalent with like nurturing, or like growing a plant or something like that. Like, you've been nurturing the wrong thing, really. You've been protecting your fears, right? You've been supportive of your fears, of your ego, of how harsh you are on yourself and on others. And that's another thing that somebody out there needs to hear. Maybe divine feminine that's listening to this part as a cross watcher, that when people are harsh on someone else, it's a reflection of how hard they are on themselves. And yeah, a lot of times there is another like rail, or like another angle of overcompensation, where in the physical, with the way they speak and conduct themselves, it may seem like they're too much in their ego and it's condescending and arrogant, right? Like, what are they talking about? They're hard on themselves. They feel like, it looks like they feel like they already do everything right, and the rest of us don't comply. But it's not really like that. Even with the most toxic people, diagnosably like narcissistic personality disorder and worse, it's still like that. All the BS that those people are putting onto others and making them suffer and enjoying their pain, it's a reflection of how deep of a pain and how big of a hole they have inside of them, in their heart, in their heart center, like, in, you know, from their experience. I didn't want to finish on that note, but essentially, big changes. It feels like for the masculines, they're almost on top of that mountain. Just need to do that double check whether that's still something you want. For feminines, you're stepping into a higher, fuller representation within your mission, within your light worker career, right? And if you just don't see the results just yet and you have some hesitance, know that it's all coming together for you. So don't doubt yourself and keep going, keep showing up, and the universe will catch your back. Will catch you. The universe will catch you. That's the expression. Okay, I love you guys. Until next time. Bye.